This is going to be a video about an event recap I had this past weekend in Oklahoma. The event was called Tech Center Takedown, hosted by Combat Robots of Oklahoma. And so this event had Open Ant and Plastic Ant, and I competed in both classes. For this video though, I want to talk about the Open Ant and then maybe make a video about the Plastic Ant, about my Plastic Ant. So yeah, this was an event here. It's about 8 hours north of me in Norman, Oklahoma, and it was a very well run event, really fun. It was nice catching up with some people from the previous event. So for this event, I went with a completely different bot design. This is based off my previous design was a scalar kit, but for this design, I went with a design that is actually based off Digitalis. Digitalis is a very competitive bot that actually won the TRC event last year, and the builder and driver of Digitalis, CyberdRez, actually made his design available for free on Thingiverse. I'll link this page here in the description. And so an awesome person for him to make that available, and he's actually a really cool dude. He's since become a buddy of mine, but yeah, definitely recommend you check it out here if you're looking for a design that's different from the Palm Beach bot kits or the scalar kits. Anyways, I wasn't the only one with this design. There was another driver who also built their version of Digitalis, and it was actually kind of cool seeing all three bots together, the OG and the two drivers, the two other bots. Here it is. This is what it looks like. It doesn't have wheels right now. The wheels I actually gave away to the driver of Digitalis and to the other driver of the other Digitalis copy so that they could use. This is after a full event. It has definitely seen some war, but yeah. So my first fight was against Muck. Muck is a pretty big robot with a very long blade. I'm not sure how long that blade is, maybe like 4 inches. So this thing has pretty big reach, and I have fought Muck with my scalar kit in the last event. He beat me, and for this event I thought I had him for a split second, but he ended up getting the win. So this is how it went. Also, big thanks to the driver of Muck for letting me use this video.
3, 2, 1, my robots fight! Ooh, I wouldn't want to get near that blade on Muck. Oh, that's that first hit. But it's okay, doesn't look like any much came off of him. Muck is just going after Rara over here. Oh, that is a pin! He's pinning him, and he's driving his weapon straight into the back of him. Alright, they released that pin. There is some slice on that chassis, but it doesn't look like he got into anything important quite yet. It looks like Robotics still moving just fine. And that weapon sure is scary on Muck. Ooh, did you guys see that? It is slammed right into the wall. Alright. Well, they're trying to get a good angle on them. It's kind of hard because Robotics' weapon is kind of far back into the robot. Muck's weapon is much wider, so you can kind of reach and get at the other robot a bit better. Just trying to get a good angle on each other. But it just takes that one hit to get something important, and the other robot's not going, oh! Make sure there's no exposed battery, but there's some, oh my goodness. They're going to turn into a multi-box soon. They're just connected by just a few wires in the middle there. He's still trying to desperately move. We got another wheel going. Maybe we can use it as a bludgeon. Just rush straight at him and just use the other side. Swing. He's got a mace. Oh, mace. I'm sorry. We got less than 30 seconds left in this match. Uh-oh.
So this is when I got high centered on the seam of the floor. So yeah, it was a little bit disheartening. To be fair, Mug had me most of that match. He was just bossing me around. I got very lucky. I got a nick, and I ended up hitting the connector that he uses to connect his drive motors or his drive assemblies and the spinner thing. So I split him in half, and when I split him in half, I actually got excited. I think I even jumped, and I thought I had won at that point just by damage alone. But I got high centered around the last like 20-30 seconds of the fight, and so I got counted out as a KO, and he ended up winning. So congrats, Grant. Congrats to him. He definitely deserved it. He was bullying me even before that. So what happened? Well, there were a few things. First of all, the biggest thing is just my driving. My driving is absolute ass, and part of it is inexperience. Actually, a big chunk of it is just inexperience. I'm pretty new to it. I don't have a test box, or I don't really have a way to test my driving safely at home. So it was legitimately the first time driving rara, this version of rara, and of course it's in a fight environment. So that was one. Issue number two is that these motors are way too speedy. These are like, what are they, like 2800 kV? They're not necessarily meant for this purpose. And so I think that was another issue, is I was just spinning too much. And I can't really put all the blame on that, because both Digitalis, I spoke to the drivers of Digitalis and the other driver who competed with a version of Digitalis, and they could drive perfectly fine. So it's definitely, that's a skill issue, but that's something I needed to work on. So driving was a big one. And then the second thing is the back end. So I did lose my left side drive, and that was because Muck nicked, just like on this one, he actually cut a wire from my left motor to the drive ESC, and that essentially disabled my left drive. So I realized that this is a big weak point. In Digitalis, Digitalis has a more rounded back end. I, of course, couldn't fully copy him, so I made my so I did change the geometry a little bit, but I think that change actually haunted me this event. So that is a big theme. I would get nicked here a few times, and then I would just lose my left drive. This is actually from a separate fight that I'll talk about in a little bit, and as you can see, this is same thing happened. So yeah, that was the first fight, and I at that point was 0-1. Okay, so all right, so that was my first fight. At this point, if I lose another fight, I'm out. My next fight was against a big wheel spinner, and this is how the fight went.
Starting this fight. 3, 2, 1.
I ended up winning. My driving was still a little squirrely, even though I had toned down the the motor speed by about 80, I had it down to like 80%. I was still a little too squirrely. I didn't have the control that I wanted, but thankfully I was able to win against that design, that bot. And the driver, really cool guy. He actually was sitting next to me, and we pretty much were talking the whole day. Gave me one of his wheels. This is printed in polyethylene, which is actually a material I'm very interested in. I know there's a YouTuber, Drum Robotics, who kind of swears by this stuff. So it's kind of cool that kind of have a copy of what polyethylene, like something made out of this material. I definitely will look more into it. The driver of this bot did mention that this is a new design, and he was still trying to iron out some stuff. So it wasn't, of course, it definitely has potential, but it definitely has some minor details that need to be worked on, but I'm sure he'll come back stronger. Winning against this bot put me at 1-1, so I was still in it. My next fight was against another Digitalis clone, Thermite. The driver of Thermite is way more skilled than I am, and you can see he just drove circles around me and just absolutely was able to just land a lot of hits. So this is how the fight went.
Start the fight. 3, 2, 1.
All right, so yeah, so this is what the bot looks like after fighting Thermite. Same deal. By the way, this says great value, Digitalis. Same deal. He nicked the back center of the bot, which disabled, which tore one of my drive wires. Also, he tore the wire on the hub motor and bent the screw here that keeps it locked. So I think this hub motor is dead. It doesn't even spin freely anymore. And did a chunk of damage here to this Tigris plate. Let's take this out. So this got ripped. Actually, this held up really well. I mean, I could probably like snip off the parts that kind of are sticking up, and can be reused. But yeah, I'm surprised this held up well. Really, my hub motor died, got ripped out, and then I lost left side drive, so I got one cable ripped out. So great driving there by the driver of Thermite, and he ended up making it pretty far into a tournament along with the original Digitalis. They made it really far, and so I'm really happy for them. Both drivers, the driver of Digitalis and the driver of Thermite, Jackson, I believe, really cool people. So I'm not mad that I lost against them, and I deserve to lose. Just the way his driving was just incredible compared to mine. So what are the changes that I'm looking into? So the biggest thing is the skill issue. I do need to find a way to drive to become a better driver. That if I have to build a test box, I think that might have to be it. I did kind of have a little ghetto setup where I just kind of practiced in my garage and stood behind like a Lexan wall. And I kind of should have done this a long time ago. I was able to kind of fine tune the transmitter settings so I could make this bot a little bit easier to drive. I did drop down the max motor speed to about 40%, and so now these are operating at 40%, which makes the driving a lot more manageable. It makes it a lot more easy for me to drive. I'm no longer spinning. I'm not longer oversteering. So that's something that I did fix, of course, after the event. I kind of wish I would have done this before. I would have been able to drive a little better. So that was one thing that I sorted out, is just the making this bot a little bit more controllable for me. And then another running thing that I was running into was the back end getting shredded. And I realized that the back is a little bit too thin and a bit of a liability. So if a bot, especially like a vertical spinner, lands a hit somewhere in this area, it's going to cut a wire, and then I'm out of a left side drive. So I made some updates literally as I after I drove home, made some updates to the back geometry, and I came up with this design. Very minor. I essentially just added a 2.5 millimeter wall with some support here, and so that essentially should protect the backside a little bit better. It's essentially a sacrificial wall back here, and so that's gonna hopefully strengthen my back end a little better. Another update I did was I added this 1 millimeter by about 8 millimeter high wall, and that's to prevent any wires from getting sucked in by the motor, because I did have an issue on one fight where where one wire actually got snuck in between the this middle wall and the chassis, and it just got sucked in by the blade, and it got ripped out. So hopefully this little wall here will create a channel for the cables that will hopefully keep the left side motor from dying. So that was the chassis changes. For the motor itself, I didn't use Digitalis' blade design. I used the stock Repeat Robotics one. I think I'm gonna get some custom blades using the Digitalis design made, because that blade had a much better bite than this blade. So the hits there were by that design was much they seem like just better hits than when I would be able to land a good hit with this blade. That's one change I made. Outside of that, I think this is an amazing design, and I will rebuild Rara using this frame, using the new blade design, and I think I will be good. Hopefully it'll be enough. Maybe on a minor note, I did get this ripped out, so I am thinking of maybe just getting making it using zip ties so this can be flushed against the upright, and maybe using like a tubing here, heat shrink tubing or whatever, to kind of keep the wires together so they're less likely to get caught by something. But yeah, I did, not gonna lie, I'm a little salty. I lost a brand new hub. So let's take a look at this. Maybe it can be reused here. Okay. Now, I do plan on actually, when I put I'm waiting on some parts to come in, but I do plan on making a video of me just putting together Rara. That way, if anyone that downloads the Digitalis kit wants a kind of like a step-by-step tutorial on how to do that, I kind of want to upload something to help out, make it easier. We also made a bill of materials. I know that the one on Thingiverse doesn't have a bill of materials, so that'll hopefully make it easier for someone who wants to build Digitalis to put one together. Now, off the bat, I don't think I'll be able to remove all the screws. This top right one is pretty shredded. I can't really put I don't think I'll be able to unscrew that. Alright, well, while I get this out, I did get a grudge match. I have another configuration specifically for horizontal spinners that has like the Repeat Robotics metal wedge. So you can see that grudge match against the scalar kit. So yeah, against that scalar kit, same issue. Just one of the left side wire snapped, which killed my left side drive, and that kind of sucks because I felt like I was dominating in that fight up until that point. He also lost his drive, so at one point we were just kind of spinning in circles. But that's also a change I need to address and I think the issue is the wires are actually relatively tight. They're not super long, so anytime the bot flexes outward, it puts unnecessary stress to the wires, which eventually will cause the wire to rip. That's probably what happened to the other bot in that garbage match. So that's probably something I have to address. I just gotta extend these wires so they're not they're not being stressed. That's an easy fix. Also, I had a beetle weight that I do want to make a video about at the event. It's based off the Tropical Trouble kit, and you can kind of see the fight there. Similar issue, I just lost drive. I haven't opened that one yet to see what it is, what happened. My guess is a connector just got loose, so that's something that I need to look into, and I'll make a video about that in the future. So you can see the garbage match. It was against a bot called Unga Bunga, which is a very competitive robot.
Right corner. You guys have a moment to take a break. This is going to be a fun match. I'm setting a timer apparently. Alright, drivers, are you ready? We really have drivers because it's a garage match. Match starts in 3, 2, 1. Fire robots, fire, let's go!
Okay. Okay, I probably won't be able to get it out. Damn. Okay, well, you can kind of see the damage on the hub itself. Actually, the outside is okay. I might be able to... I think Repeat sells the internals of this hub for like 25 bucks or something, and then just reuse the... Ooh, that got pretty shredded. I don't know, I might be able to rescue this hub. Obviously I will have to replace the internals, but if I can get this out, which I probably will not be able to, I'm gonna have to cut this. Gonna have to cut the threading out, but I might be able to save this hub motor. I mean, I've already got a new hub motor on order because I didn't think I would be able to save this one. But yeah, it got wrecked. So yeah, that is how this event went for me. Slightly better than the TRC event, but I feel like I could have done so much better. And another example where just these little things were my downfall. So I'm hoping I am going to address these issues so that the next open at-weight event, I will have a much more competitive design. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and yeah, have a good one. Bye.